Yeah, the personality right away, and that part I think we knew. Really positive, upbeat, kind of vocal guy. So he fit right in with that. And then I think I would say I'd put him in the same category as Seth Jones in some ways, coming off a bunch of years in a completely different style of play. And he just built his game over the course of the season. The back half of the season, he had adjusted to how we play and has been very effective. And he falls into that category of veteran player that appreciates and enjoys the playoffs at a really high level. All these guys have been in the game a while. They know how hard it is to make the playoffs. They've had playoff disappointments. And then they get to come in and you'll see them play their best hockey.
Different situations, but you've had guys that have come in that maybe had tough positions elsewhere.
Yeah.
Buyouts. I mean,
right.
And then we get Nate Schmidt, the first of the state, he signs here, and he's just, I'm finally going to the Panthers.
Yeah.
You knew him from Winnipeg, and he pointed to that as one.
Right.
Did that kind of help with?
Yeah, I think I think Bill and the pro scouting staff do a marvelous job of identifying players that we think can adapt to the way we play. It's not just about being a good player. There's lots of good players in this league, and I mean some very high-end players that wouldn't fit easily into the game that we play. And that's a critical piece because it's not even skill-based in some ways. So a player can come in, make the adjustment, and have success here, even if it's not numbers are on the score sheet. He can get into a simpler game that he enjoys, and in some ways it's a more instinctual game because the reads are simpler. We think we've got to boil down to very basic reads so that we can play a little bit faster. So the smart guys, the guys who process the game quickly, can look fast. So I think we play a game that's easy for him to play.
Is there also the thing where maybe some weight is taken off? Like,
yeah.
was getting
right.
a lot of grief for his contract where he didn't get that here. Same with Nate in Winnipeg. People like, how is this guy not playing?
Yeah, I think what does happen, and again, we talk about Seth and Brad Marchand as well. We've got a pretty veteran, deep team. I mean, you don't walk into the room every night feeling you got to carry it, right? You get to just play. You're one of good players, and you don't carry that same weight. So you almost return to form for a lot of these guys. Just go in and play their game. We've got a handful of things that everybody has to do, whether you're number 16 or not. Everybody has to do the same things, and then they're encouraged to be individuals. They all play the game slightly differently, especially more with the puck kind of an idea that they can do things. Sam Bennett, I'd asked Sam, what was the difference? Because that one to me was the one I was most acutely aware of because Sam was in the Western Conference and we saw them an awful lot, and I had nothing to do with his resurgence. Kind of came in late after he'd already done it. He said, I just got back to playing the hockey I played when I first came into the league. So there's a learning curve for all these young players. They come in and they got to learn the game and they got to learn a bunch of stuff. And if they're not really successful early, then the coaches kind of beat their game out of them. And for some of them, they need it. But for some of them, it takes away what they're great at. So Sam got back to the game that he could play. And he said, I rolled in here and I played with Jonathan Huberdeau. So good things are going to happen.
With special teams, the 3 power play goals right with 5 seconds away from being perfect on the PK, just the importance of establishing the special team part of the game early in the series.
I think there's confidence on both units in that you need to have confidence on both units. So there's 3 stages for your power play. It's either going like last night, the pucks are going in, or you're getting your chances and you feel like you're right there. That's a pretty good place to be. And then there's nothing going on in your power play. It can become a very negative, very frustrating thing for you. It's your most skilled players. It's the players who are under pressure to produce, and it's a big part of playoff hockey. So we think some pretty good confidence. I don't know that your penalty kill when you get to the playoffs, it can be confident, but there's a ceiling on that because the power plays are just so good. And even, we were 5 seconds away, but there's also 5 or 6 more that could have gone, and that would be true for both teams. The power plays are just so dangerous with the talent level on the top 16 teams.
With Matthew, were you able to check in with him and see like how his body
Yeah, was doing that over the course of the game. His minutes were quite low last night. He played significantly under where he normally would play, which was fine. I think that's a credit. Lusterine and Lundell, Marchand were very, very good last night, so they picked up. But then so was Sturm. In the back half of the game, they played a lot of shifts against Braden Point and handled that quite well, I thought. So it allowed us to do that. He's got through the game fine and seems fine today. We'll get a morning skate out to make sure nothing's changed for tomorrow.
Is there a moment there when he goes sliding in the corner where you're holding your breath a little bit, and then he comes back and he makes a play?
Yeah, I think for Matthew, it was mostly just an unknown because he hadn't had a lot of practice time or a lot of battle time. And then you go, it's one thing to put a player back in the regular season, especially the playoffs are such a different animal. So you're watching very closely, but he got moving. The one thing, even when Matthew's not at 100%, I saw him play an incredibly smart game with a broken collarbone. And I think he had 3 of our best chances to score that night against Vegas 2 years ago. So he can adapt his game.
Paul Maurice last game at flat suspension. Over the course of these 19 games, now just what did you learn about your blue line of depth, the guys being able to maneuver?
Yeah.
What did you learn about that during the stretch?
We have places to go. If we have injuries to our blue line, we were forced into trying, and then so you get a new player in Seth Jones and you lose Aaron Ekblad. You're trying just about every different combination, and then our schedule forced us into taking players out. Some of them were nicked up. We lost Dimitri. So all the adversity that we faced on our blue line in the last 20, 30 games of the year turns out to be the best learning experience. When they come back healthy, you've played everybody with just about everybody. They have a comfort level. If you have to do it in a game, then there's not a lot of unknown there.
You described last year's group as very serious.
Yeah.
Business-like with their approach. How does this year's team compare?
A little more worldly, right? They've been through it now, been on both sides, lost a final, won a final. And then, like, I think part of it really rejuvenated for the playoffs. So it was a challenge for us this year, finding that energy source. And I think the players did a great job. They truly battled through that. And then the adversity there toward the end of the regular season helped us as well. It feels like a new team. In some ways it is. The practice that we had, like we had no practice time this year either. That's not a complaint. We had to make the decision not to put your team on the ice. So we just didn't have a lot of the bonding places maybe that you normally would. But the core is still so tight together, I don't think we needed it. But we got into practice the other day. We got 5 lines in 8D. And it's the first time they've been on the ice together. And there was a little bit of buzz about that. And so they're moving together like as a new group, a bunch of old friends with some new friends, and everybody likes each other.
In that game last night, in most of those goals, you had guys in front of the net, you had guys tipping pucks, taking Vasilevsky's eyes away. I mean, against a guy like that, how important was that to have a game like that where you're taking his eyes away like that?
Yeah, it's critical for all goaltenders in the NHL. If they see the puck, they're stopping it. And even if they see it released, they're stopping it. Even if they have to lose it with traffic in between, these guys are that good. There wasn't a lot of offense in that game. If you sub out both special teams for the teams, it was a bit of a defensive grind, a little bit of a stalemate. So it's going to be broken play goals. Pucks batted out of the air, pucks jammed backdoor, those kind of things. There'll be 1 or 2. A small number of high-end chances. If we play the game that we like to play, we do sacrifice some offense to play well defensively, which will hopefully limit the other team as well. So there won't be a lot of high-end. There won't be a high volume, I don't think. If it's done right for us, there won't be a high volume, so you got to make most of your chances.
Tampa talked about pulling you guys to 16 shots.
Yeah.
They didn't get much either. Were you pretty happy with the defensive way? Even
Yeah.
when you got the puck through the neutral zone, there was always somebody there to see them break
Yeah,
things up.
I thought we were reasonably good. I felt that it was an unusual game, and even when I cut it, there wasn't a lot of sustained action by both teams because they're both smart. They put pucks deep when they were supposed to. They released pucks. There wasn't a lot of forcing things that would break the game open one way or the other. So I don't think the lower event game we're used to. It's what we do. Play pretty tight games most of the year. It's the way we play the game, and we'll have to continue that. We'll have to keep that game kind of wrapped up pretty tight.